Yeah. Welcome to the ESP Show, hosted by Jacob Espinoza.
Another community that I really see forming that I think is awesome is women in sports on
Yeah.
Twitter specifically. Maybe there's other platforms I'm just not aware of, but it seems like there's a connection on Twitter of just women that are accelerating. But do you see this group forming as well? And what do you think is some of the value there?
Yeah, for sure. I think, when I started, it was never a thought to me that I would be thought of any differently because I was a woman. I've always been raised to, think that I can do anything that I want to do. And it has nothing to do with, the fact that I'm a woman. That was never even a thought in my head. And it wasn't until the first site that I was writing for, I was the only girl on staff there. Like, there were no other women. And what I found was that this was an issue for primarily men. Most women don't have an issue with women in sports, but there are a lot of men who do. And I didn't realize that that was a thing. I had no idea that that was going to put me in a position where I would essentially have to work harder to prove that I knew what I was talking about. Or
when you look back on it now, do you feel like in that moment, did you realize like, wow, how did I not see this? And this is very much a thing, or was it?
No, because before I started writing for covering the team, I wasn't involved. The only thing I'd really been involved in is I would read other people's articles. I had recently, before I started, kind of joined some Facebook groups and things like that, but I wasn't super active in them. So and everybody in my actual life had no issue with the fact that I was, my mom is a big sports fan. My grandma is a big sports fan. So for me, it was very normal that as a girl, I liked sports. It was never, those two things were never something that didn't go together. It wasn't, I'd been an athlete my whole life. So I'd been on teams with other women, other girls that were into sports, that were involved in sports. So it was actually kind of surprising to me. Now looking at it and seeing how prevalent that is, I realize I was very fortunate to not realize it up till that point. I think I was fortunate to live in a bubble that, people accepted me how I was, and it wasn't an issue. It wasn't really, it didn't become very obvious until I was in that world. But yeah, I think I love the women on Twitter. There are so many women on that app that I feel like I have gotten to know and become friends with because of our shared love for the Blazers. And I think that that's really, really cool. And then as well, you start to kind of find your way to interactions with women who are involved in either other sports or with other teams. And that's really cool too. It doesn't matter that we like different teams. It's one of those things where it's hey, I see you. I see you're doing this too. We get each other because we're both in that same world. And so that's always been really, really cool for me too. But I've been with Blazers Edge, where I write now, I'm not the only woman there, and I think that that's amazing. And with Swish Cultures, which is the outlet that I work with there, one of the co-founders is a woman. There's 3 co-founders, and one of them is a woman. So I'm not, the only girl there either. And then it's cool to see that happening. It's not, I'm not alone anywhere that I'm at. So
100%.
It's been good.
That's beautiful.